Hello, welcome to Hikate's Crossing. Okay, so we're continuing our exploration with the meditation with the major arcana. Okay, so we're doing the meditation. I read that through last week. We looked at the last time we looked at this, we looked at the Death card. So let's have a look at the next major arcana that we're going to dive into. Okay, so what's next for... Oh, interesting. We get the Fool. I did not expect that at all. Okay, so the Fool, the scent is tobacco, colour black. Your meditation, I find myself. Your affirmation, I create a new self. I have the power to be visible or invisible as I choose. Oh, that's interesting. I find myself. I create a new self. I have the power to be visible or invisible as I choose. Whew. With the colour black and the scent as tobacco. Oh, okay. So let's have a look at the Fool in here for reflection. So let's take a moment and just take a breath for a second and have a think about the Fool. In the beginning there was only darkness everywhere, darkness and water, and the darkness gathered thick in places, crowding together, and then separating, crowding and separating, until at last from one of the places where the darkness has crowded, there came forth a man. This man wandered through the darkness until he began to think. Then he knew himself, and that he was a man. He knew that he was there for a purpose. Chief Visak, Voyoyim, Hovering Hawk, Pima, Curtis in 1968. Okay, when the Fool turns up in a reading, tarot traditionalist assumes that an element of anarchy has entered the picture. To us, the card represents the original state of structured chaos, like the darkness described by Chief Hovering Hawk. This paradoxical concept lies at the core of all existence. Still, to some, the Fool represents absolutely entropy, the breakdown of order. In this budding Aquarian age, he is often the Kabbalistic babe in the abyss. Medieval Europe might have called him the Lord of Misrule, a title that has its correlation in Native American tradition. One ancient figure of the Fool mentioned by Aleister Crowley is the Green Man, or the April Fool, who personifies spring in the vernal festivals. Here, the essence of the Fool is spring fever. Then there is the Celtic Great Fool, who represents a druidic doctrine, as in the Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo, rather than a naturalistic phenomenon. In Jungian terms, the Fool is one of the most important symbols of the unconscious mind. It embodies all that we would like to forget about ourselves and what we had better not forget. The spirit of foolishness can be said to animate the entire tarot. The cards are illuminated with the Fool's madness. Foolishness, godliness, Hudson said that in any reading. It is the Fool who asks, and the Fool who answers every question. Aleister Crowley reminds us that the Fool of God, who connects foolishness and holiness, is acknowledged worldwide. In the Near and Far East, for example, as well as in Native America, the madman is believed to be possessed, a holy man or prophet. Crowley even points out proof in the English language. Silly originally meant empty, and is derived from the German word selig, meaning holy or blessed. Emptiness, innocence, is the Fool's most important quality, for it is a natural law that empty space must be filled. The philosophical point is that salvation, whatever it is, cannot be attained by rational means. Reason is a hindrance and an impasse. Only divine madness offers redemption. In various traditions, the common denominator is that madness brings inspiration. Nearly all primitive people respect and even revere the wandering lunatic, for he may be the messenger of the Most High. Another Fool is the Greek Dionysus, known as Romans as Bacchus. He bestowed the gift of wine on humankind and was like Jesus, an overturner of dogmatic traditions and tyrannic restrictions. He was the incarnate power of spiritual revolt and rebirth. But to overthrow convention is to overthrow the current philosophy, with or without a new way to follow. And as Eden Gray remarked, if one has no philosophy, he is a fool. In spite of this, because of this, inherent in the fool is the very first step of the journey through the higher arcana, with card 21 being the climax of cosmic consciousness, divine wisdom. The fool of the Native American tarot is a kachina. To the Hopi, a kachina is a spirit to be believed in, or a masked dancer impersonating spirit, or a doll carved and painted in the likeness of a spirit. The Pueblo of the Southwest do not use kachina as idols, but rather as lessons in the form of images hung on the walls of their homes. Catholics and Anglicans use representations of saints in much the same manner. In the Tiwa Pueblo ceremonies, the sacred clowns delight visitors and villagers with erotic pantomime. The serious role, that of mediator with the spirit world, would seem to be masked by their black and white makeup and their ribald play. But the spirits have license to obscene jokes, for they have the power over man and beast, the ability to increase fertility. While the clowns enjoin all not to take it too seriously, the ritual dancers try to keep their solemnity and pretend these pranksters are invisible. This is interesting. If one remembers that Kabbalists who use the tarot meditate on the fool when they wish to become invisible. In monarchical Europe, the court jester, the fool, served to remind the king of his own folly and humanity. So too the kachina, who is a counterpart in the form of satirical clowns in almost every Native American culture. In the Lakota Sioux tradition, the fool would be Hioki, a contrary to who will retreat if you say charge, and who will rush headlong into the fray if you say go back. He will walk backwards and ride facing his horse's tail. To the Pueblo people, the fool is a kachina clown who will purposely perform his magic incorrectly in a ceremonial procession as a reminder that the gods and their powers are holy, not the priests and their tricks. The fool of the Native American tarot is a kachina clown on a hillside at dusk. The setting sun and the rising moon are both in the sky, representing the cyclical balance of all things. The clown wears a breech cloth, a scarf around his neck, strips of cloth like banners around his wrists and knees, and a cloth turban on which are mock horns made of beads and straw. In his left hand is a medicine bundle carrying sacred smoking mixtures, and hanging from his neck is a medicine bag for protection. The cedar boughs represent growth, and when burned as incense, cleansing. A scruffy dog runs beside the fool. In some Native American traditions, the companion dog of the Great Mystery helped put down the constellations in the sky, but dog was full of himself. So as one powwow story goes, he got bored and impatient with the task assigned to him, and threw way out ahead of himself the bag of stars he carried, thus creating the Milky Way. The angry great spirit banished dog to earth and turned him into Coyote, the trickster. The fool is the self at the beginning of the shamanic journey. He is also the first step in the rest of one's life. He has lost his wits, or with divine guidance or wisdom has abandoned them for something better. He is the trickster whose tricks don't work, or if they do, he will turn aside and show you how they work. The counterpart of the next card, Hoist and Coyote, he is a distorted mirror image of Hoist and Coyote, the trickster, or even of himself. The important aspect of the fool is that its number is 0. He represents the creative source of all things, the womb. 0 is the cosmic cipher, the void, the existential everyman, in poker terms the wild card. Hence, we come full circle to the belief that when the fool shows up in a layout, an element of anarchy is let in. To the fool, nothing is sacred. Therefore, anything and everything is possible. The fool is also just what he is, a fool. What a great card to reflect on today. This is a reminder, I think, that there are times when we've got to sort of have fun. So in meditation, think about the message that the Fool is giving you. I love it. Absolutely love this card. Okay, so that's it from me. Totally recommend this book if you've got this tarot deck. Definitely look for the companion book. This is a great book if you want to explore tarot further, I think. It gives you such great information and some different things to try. So let's meditate on the Fool. Take a moment to reflect on the card and to step into the card. Oh, I thought that might have worked. That might be a bit dark. Okay, so take a moment to feel like you're stepping into the card. What is he saying? What is the character saying to you? What is Hoyoki saying to you? So yeah, take a breath. Okay, so that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care. Blessed be.